Hello everybody and welcome once again to another RPM Technik video. And as you can see, standing behind me is this absolutely gorgeous Porsche GT2RS MR. And it's those two little letters MR that we're talking about today. Because this is one of several GT2 and GT3RS MRs that we've built here at RPM Technik. And we thought we'd have a little look carefully at some of the components that go into the car that have created such record-breaking cars at the Nürburgring. A key part of the MR conversion is the suspension, the three-way adjustable KW suspension, which you can't actually see on the car, so I've got a complete damper unit here with me. It's adjustable for compression and rebound for both high and low speed settings, which gives an awful lot of adjustability. And although the settings I've found from standard are absolutely perfect, and that may not come as a surprise as they're set by the factory Manthey and Porsche drivers around the Nürburgring, you may want to change them for circuit specifics here in the UK or wherever you drive your car. The damper itself is adjustable also for spring ride height, so you can adjust the car ride height for circuit specific settings, and also retains the front axle lift where fitted as standard on the car. In conjunction with a different top mount plate, this gives the car a lot of adjustability on the geometry setting as well. The advantage of the KW suspension kit is that the inherent damper and spring settings are a bit stiffer than standard. What does this mean on track? Well, it means far better chassis platform control, where the standard car might roll earlier than with this suspension, leading to the car sliding or losing grip. These will retain that chassis in a flatter platform and allow you to go a lot faster. So let's talk about aerodynamics, because it's a very important part of the MR kit. For additional downforce at the front of the car, we have these two canards on either side of the car, and also some underbody deflectors that you can't see here, but are very important in shaping the way the air moves underneath the car. And if you're looking at these two canards and thinking, that's only a very small surface area, what difference could that make? I challenge you this: when you're driving down the road, on a private road, because I'll say doing 100 miles an hour, stick your hand out the window and see how much air force works on that small area of your hand. It's a huge amount. So these two gurneys on either side, or canards, have a big effect on the downforce at the front of the car. The aerodynamics at the rear of the car are actually far more complex, and they kick off with these unique aero discs, which are part of the MR kit. Now, they're not there actually, contrary to popular belief, to aid brake cooling or anything else. They're there to channel air to this huge rear wing. The rear wing itself is obviously much larger than standard, including these big end plates, and therefore creates a lot more downforce. And that's where those rear aero discs come into play, because by spilling air off the side, they take away some of the drag, because with downforce always comes drag. So you can have the benefit of the downforce without the penalty of the drag. Whilst the rear wing does create a lot of downforce, some of that downforce comes from the addition of these two gurney strips, one on top of the rear deck, and this small centimetre deep one on the back edge of the wing. On the standard car, the rear wing is actually mounted to the boot lid and lifts up and down in conjunction with it. But so much downforce was created by this rear wing assembly that the boot lid itself was flexing, so another system of mounting the wing had to be found. In the end, the solution was to produce this chassis support mount, which then is bolted to the chassis in conjunction with a stiffening bracket, and then the wing support mount is mounted on that chassis plate itself. So the boot lid moves independently, and this is a fixed structure on the car. The end result of all this additional downforce on the car is that the faster you go, the more grip you have, because the air pressure is forcing you down into the road. So above 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, aerodynamics is really playing a part. So medium speed corners, high speed corners and ultra high speed corners, you're going to have more grip and go faster. This being a GT2RS MR, there's one additional Manthey-Racing modification, and it's the enlarged water tank at the front. This is the water tank that holds the distilled water that sprays on the intercooler to keep the temperatures down, and it's now 15 litres with the Manthey-Racing conversion. Braking on the MR kitted cars features three enhancements. Firstly, the brake pads themselves. Developed by Paget for Manthey-Racing exclusively and to be used in conjunction with the standard PCCBs, these will enhance braking power, full stop. Coupled with some new brake lines, which are braided steel lines as opposed to the rubber standard lines, and some racing brake fluid, means that the pedal will stay consistent and firm all the time, and there'll be no brake fade due to excess temperature in the brake fluid. If you're like me, wheels are really important on a car, and as you'd expect, the MR kitted cars have something really special on each corner. They're magnesium Manthey-Racing wheels, saving a total of 14 kilos across the four wheels, or 3.5 kilos per wheel. Now 3.5 kilos might sound not a lot, but in unsprung weight, that's a huge amount. And you can really feel it on change of direction through the corners. The car's much more agile. In conjunction with some really sticky tyres, and on this particular car it's got Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tyres, the performance is quite staggering. And again, that's where the KW suspension really comes into its own. So once all these wonderful components are fitted to your car, we'll obviously do a bespoke chassis and geometry setup on our Manthey-Racing setup equipment here at RPM Technik. And you'll be able to roll out the door in the ultimate 911. Crucially though, when you do roll out that door, you'll retain all of your Porsche warranty. Not only that, that warranty can be extended at the end of its life as well. So if you're interested in upgrading your Porsche, be it a GT4, a GT3 or a GT2RS, please get in touch. We'd be delighted to hear from you.